Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning from wherever you are. And unless you've been living under a rock, pun intended, not really, because it's nothing to do with the rock, but I digress. You would have seen the infamous video finally make its way to our eyes through the medium of television. And of course, I'm talking about AEW airing the all-in brawl backstage between Jack Perry and CM Punk. And first things first, so we'll talk about that because I want to talk about Will Ospreay as well. I would like to know what the hell AEW were thinking here. They thought by airing this that they were going to own CM Punk and make themselves look good and kind of vindicate themselves for firing him. Right. Okay. Well, first of all, there is not anyone who doubts that CM Punk should have been fired. I will say to you, go and choke your colleague out. Go punch your colleague and see what happens. Nobody here, and I'm a CM Punk fan, not a fanboy, but a fan. Nobody here would dispute that punching or choking out your colleague is a fireable offence, and anyone that does, you're just seeing things. You've got like a cult-like love for the man. Okay. That being said, this is a culmination of 2 years of frustration from a man who tried to do his best to pass his knowledge and expertise on and try to make the product less silly. Okay, and constantly getting pushback and barriers and have the piss taken out of him and having to deal with school children and tribalism. Okay, I mean that's the core of wrestling. Anyone will tell you it's the core of it. It's been like that everywhere. But there's a principle involved where your number one ratings bringer and your number one's merch seller and the biggest thing you have in your business is trying to say to you, hey, if we do things that way, then all of us can benefit from this by creating a better project. A la Collision, which was a fantastic product and was one of the only weekly shows that I was watching because CM Punk did a fantastic job. And if I was WWE, I would give CM Punk a show to kind of help run. Not run, just, be part of the creative. Because WWE needs it, and I'll get to that in a minute. This might be a long video, but I want to get some things off my chest, and I want to do it in a wrestling video on its own, rather than our fabulous podcast, The World's Gone Insane, Let's Talk About It, which you can see every Friday at 9 o'clock here on NerdTube. And I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Zam, Christine, and Gary. Okay, that's that plug over with. So, of course, Punk definitely deserved to be fired, but the issue is here. Just because he went on a show or podcast, whatever it is, did an interview and aired his grievances about the whole incident and just told the truth about what happened. All right, it doesn't mean that you should take the bait, because everything that happened, people took CM Punk's side. Everything that happened in that interview, people took CM Punk's side. Everything that everyone has been saying about AEW, all right, has been proven to be true, not by CM Punk, but by the actions of the elite and by Tony Khan. All right, when CM Punk said he's not a boss, he's a friend, he's a nice guy. And I totally believe, like, Tony Khan is probably a nice guy. Alright? And that's fine if he wants to be, like, you don't have to be like the boss, like a Vince McMahon thing. But what you need to do is understand that, although this is your plaything, this plaything should be making you money and it should be good. And you should be like, you know what? I was lucky in life. My dad gave me lots of money to play with. And look what I did with it. Instead, he is the atypical sport brat trust fund kid who throws a hissy fit like this. And instead of focusing on making a good product, he has now completely derailed AEW. Because believe it or not, they were on the right path. They made some big signings. They were starting to like cull a bit of the over bloated roster, and they were making waves. Things were getting good. Like, I pop in, the matches are getting a bit better. Yeah, there's some silly stuff, but they were on the right track. By doing this, by playing the video, they've gone and just crapped all over all the good work they've been doing. Okay, the logical response should have been, you know what? It happened what it happened. It's a shame things ended up the way that they did. We wish CM Punk well. He's entitled to his opinion. We're entitled to ours. Things got out of hand. Let's just all move on. We're not going to focus on it. But no, instead, your first knee-jerk reaction is to bring out Adam Copeland, a man who made his entire career in WWE, to talk about how great AEW is. He's been there for 5 minutes. It would have made more sense if you'd have had Kenny Omega come out. I know he's ill, but he could probably still walk into the middle of the ring, or someone like that come out to talk about how great the company is, or Bryan Danielson, or something, someone seasoned that's been there pretty much from the start. But instead you send out a WWE guy. Now you could say it was his decision. Who's to know? Either way, that initial response was the wrong response. And then what happens is you think that you're going to get the upper hand by playing the footage. And all it did is it might give you a little bit of a spike in the ratings. But after that, people are disappearing. And it's a disservice to some of the great talent on that roster. Okay, what you should have done is said, you know what? Just come and watch our product. We're heading in the right direction. We're taking on board criticisms, and we're doing something about it. But no, they've completely derailed themselves. And well done. Thumbs up there, AEW, for doing that. If you look on Twitter, and it's very rarely I ever agree with anything on Twitter, but the vast majority of people are saying that CM Punk vindicated himself. He came out on top, and I have to agree. This is a huge win for CM Punk, and it's a huge win for Drew McIntyre, because this just gives him more material to work with, okay? Because Drew McIntyre is the best thing in wrestling at the moment. Let's not beat around the bush. It ain't CM Punk. Sure, The Rock is fantastic as a heel, but he's gone away now. And that promo he did on Monday was awful with Cody Rhodes. Can I hold your belt? Sure. Great. Here's this thing. Great. Anyway, that's about WWE, more about AEW. But you can see where I'm coming from. I like wrestling, but I'm not a wrestling fanboy, and I've never been like a WWE guy ever. Like, yeah, I loved them during the Attitude Era, but that's about it. Before, other than that, I've been mainly WCW, TNA, and that's because I can't stand Vince McMahon. So believe me when I say I wanted AEW to be great, but it just isn't. It's indie garbage, and I could see why Cody Rhodes wanted to turn it more into NWA, and the moron elites, who should have been fired long ago, wanted to keep it more of an indie show. Well, your crowds are dwindling, your ratings are down, congratulations. Indie is too niche. You need to be more mainstream in that, and sprinkle in a couple of indie matches here and there. No one is going to crap on it, and if they do, they'll be like, well, you're a bit too rigid here. But in this regard, we get crap. Ring of Honor, crap. It was good, it's crap. And yeah, so they've done themselves no favour. Now the IWC is coming out saying that, oh, the Bucks and Ospreay didn't want to cut that promo, but they were kind of egged on into it. Don't defend the elite. Don't defend the VPs, the EVPs. Don't defend them. They were complicit in all of this. They were the ones that caused all these problems by being petty and defending some moron like Colt Cabana, who's not on TV. I never understood. He is the poster child of why I cannot stand the internet wrestling community, or the independent wrestling community. They bang on about this guy, but he's a shit wrestler. He's shit on the mic. Like, he's just too try hard. He's not entertaining. He's a goofy moron. And because of this guy, AEW derailed their whole product by defending him, okay, and crapping on Punk, where the logic would be, it's all about business. And business is the most important thing. Loyalty means nothing. And this brings me on to Will Ospreay. And a lot of people are crapping on him for what he said. But everyone's giving Paul Levesque a pass for what he said. I'm sorry. Paul Levesque is and has always been a petty man. Alright? Just because he's doing some wonderful stuff now doesn't excuse him for his past behaviours and how many talents he has buried to get to the top. And just what a petty little man he has always been. Even CM Punk himself said it as such. Alright? So for Levesque to say that, it's just sour grapes. They're just sour because they didn't get the stars that they wanted. They don't need them, but it was still a pathetic response. If they would have said, you know what? It's all good. We understand. Sometimes you just got to go with where your heart wants to or where the wallet speaks. Because that's a reality. And I've always said, your loyalty should always be to your wallet. And that's why I fully support Will Ospreay in saying what he said. It was a fantastic promo. Even after that, when he was just talking about Bryan Danielson, that was great. But he fired shots at CM Punk saying, look, mate, you're in no position to talk about the grind because you're in the position you're in because you were grinding against the boss's wife. And that was beautiful. Shots fired. It was short, sweet, and he moved on. And I think that is a great response because no wrestler owes anyone any fucking loyalty. It's all about the money. And you're talking about people that hit their 40s and 50s and they can't put on their trousers. They can't put on their shoes. Their body is destroyed. So yeah, were you going to go somewhere where you're working 300 plus days a year or somewhere where you're working once a week and the odd pay-per-view? It's not rocket science and you get paid well for it. You know, you should never ever have loyalty to any corporation or anyone like that because they will chew you up, spit you out and leave you to rot. So I fully support Will Ospreay. He came out strong in all of this. So I don't understand why the IWC is trying to say that, oh, he didn't want to say what he said. Nobody has ever gone and told Will Ospreay to not say what he's ever said. By you saying that, you don't know Will Ospreay. You've never watched Will Ospreay. So shut up. Okay? So, that was a mouthful. But at the end of the day, to sum up, AEW's done themselves no favours. If I was Drew McIntyre, Drew McIntyre is the only person that should take this and run with it. CM Punk did his bit. He posted George Bush in his Instagram with mission accomplished written at the back. And that's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to do any more. If he wants to, he's more than vindicated in doing so. And Jack Perry is also more than vindicated in doing so. Because all Jack Perry did, okay, is, he threw a tantrum prior to All In about not being able to smash Real Glass. And, again, son of a rich kid, trust fund baby, blah, blah, blah. All right. But all he did was say, Real Glass, cry me a river. And CM Punk reacted in that way. So yes, CM Punk deserved to get fired, but things should never have gotten to that point. But if I'm CM Punk, I don't mention this ever again. If I'm Drew McIntyre, I milk the shit out of this. And if I'm AEW, I take the L and move on. That's it. That's all I'm going to say on that. There's not much else to say. AEW, you did take a massive loss on this one. And just, focus on, look at the card that you've got for your upcoming pay-per-view. It's a pretty damn solid card. So, kill it with that, smash it, and move on and grow up. Grow up and fire your EVPs. They are useless garbage. All of them. You need to clear out half of that locker room and start being a mature wrestling company, okay? WWE is in the ascendancy again, like huge, like it's... Right now, it's just gone stratospheric with how hot the product is. And you need to be chasing it, not trying to lower yourselves to just, the bully after being punched going, oh, yeah, well, this isn't this. No, just move on, grow with it, get mature, see what WWE is doing, work with it, Not necessarily like, and again, I have my issues with WWE. Like, they're more the matches are mostly boring by the numbers. Still, even under the and what annoys me is Triple H is in charge, and we're not getting the Triple H NXT matches that we used to get, where every single one of them was an absolute banger. We're still getting the Vince stuff, the spot monkey crap, the silly childish cringe crap, and so they also, they're not perfect, but where it counts, which is their main event scene, they're absolutely killing it. And AEW is not doing too bad with that main event scene as well, because Swerve Strickland is absolute money and Samoa Joe is just the safest pair of hands to run a product. So that being said, so take a deep breath and move on. And that is all. Let normality resume. Bye.